and welcome to A God Shift with Shayna Rattler. I am a minister and life coach who helps individuals embrace disruption and confidently enter into the next chapter of their life. A God shift is the moment that a disruption in your life collides with God's purpose and moves you into a greater destiny. God uses this disruption to get our attention and invite us into the life that He has planned for us. It is important that we discover what He wants us to see, what He wants us to learn, and where it is that He needs us next. Today, we will be discussing how you can play a part in partnering with God in order to make room for a miracle in your life. My definition of a miracle is anything that cannot happen unless God steps in. A miracle goes beyond anything that you can accomplish on your own, accomplish with the help of others, or by acquiring knowledge. Here are 5 key strategies that you can implement when making room for a miracle in your life. Number 1, make mental space. I don't think we realize how much clutter it is that we have in our minds and how much we have to guard what comes in. It's so important that we pay attention to what we're listening to and what it is that we are reading, because all of those things just create for a lot of muck in your mind. And when there's a lot of things going on in your mind, it's almost impossible to make room for a miracle. Number 2, make room in your physical space. So it's almost the same as with your mental space, but it is important to declutter. If you have a lot of things in your physical environment, it's very difficult for you to think and be creative. And then also, if there is too much stuff in your physical environment, you are actually making it literally impossible to welcome anything or anyone else new into your life. Number 3, you need a combination of faith and action, because miracles, they don't just happen. We are invited into opportunities. Opportunities come to us, an information comes to us, and we must act on it. Number 4, be willing to take risks. So how will you know whether or not a risk is worth taking? First of all, you need to pray about it and you need to seek counsel. But you don't just need spiritual counsel. It's important for you to get practical counsel as well. Because as believers, it's very easy for us to fall in the trap to rely just on what God is saying and just going to our pastor. But if you need financial advice, you need to go and seek financial counsel. If you need business advice, you need to seek business counsel. The second thing that we have to realize is that when you step out and take that risk, see how God responds. Because if it is a risk that is worth taking, then He is going to make sure that everything is set out in the exact order that it needs to be set out. And then number 5, decide what you want to focus on. Because what you focus on is going to expand. Because where energy goes is where energy flows. We have a great show in store for you today, and we are so glad that you are here. When we come back, I am going to introduce you to an amazing guest.
Ready for a God shift, God shift.
Get lost in the pages of our latest book and discover the destiny you were created for. Another dimension of possibility awaits you, but a God shift is required to reveal it and access it. In A God Shift, a divine move from disruption to destiny, Shayna Rattler takes you on the journey of how she turned a once highly successful business that failed fast and left her questioning where God was taking her next into a thriving ministry and fulfilling life that affords her the opportunity to help others grow their faith and successfully navigate the seasons of life. This inspirational guide outlines the steps to confidently put your God shift in motion. Your next chapter is waiting. Are you ready to shift? Grab your copy at agodshiftbook.com. Are you looking for ways to support the God Shift movement and others in need? Grab one of our premium tees at agodshift.com/shop and we will donate 20% of the sales to the National Christian Foundation. These t-shirts are made of 100% premium soft cotton, come in white women's fit and black traditional fit, and are available in sizes extra small through 4X. It's time to embrace disruption, collide with God's purpose, and confidently shift into the next chapter of your life. Share your shift with the world by proudly wearing a God Shift t-shirt. Grab one for yourself and those you love at agodshift.com/shop.
Ready for a God shift, God shift.
Welcome back. My guest today was faced with a life-threatening diagnosis and was forced to make a decision about making room for a miracle in her life. Welcome to the show, Lisa Mannion.
Thank you so much for having me, Shayna. It's great to be here with you today.
Absolutely. I'm so excited to get into your God shift because you're actually in the middle of that God shift right now. So what are the circumstances that God is using right now in your life?
Well, facing mortality is not for the faint of heart. I will start there. And when I received a life-threatening diagnosis of a very rare and aggressive type of cancer, I was absolutely in the unknown and I had no idea what I was going to do. But the message that I got loud and clear, thankfully, was you're going to heal this with love. And that's what I proceeded to do. And I had to lean deeply into my faith to do that.
And so what did that mean for you? Because normally when we hear you have cancer, we immediately think chemo, radiation, doctor's appointments. So what do you feel like, or what do you even know that God was, what did he mean by that? Like you're going to heal cancer with love?
You know, that's such an interesting question because I really didn't know. I was sitting in inquiry, sitting in my office wondering, like, is this it? Is this going to be it? Do I have time left? What am I to do? And while I was sitting there in that inquiry is when I heard that message very clearly, don't worry, you're going to heal this with love. You're going to be shown every step of the way, what to do, where to go next. And so I just had to lean into that because that sounded way better than the alternative, because you're right, Shayna. The thought of chemo, the thought of radiation, the thought of all of it, even surgery, which I did go through, was unsettling, right? It's not something you want to go through, let alone see anyone else go through in your lifetime.
Mm-hmm. And when you think about your past experiences, whether they've been professional experiences or personal experiences, did you even know anything about leading with love?
Well, I've always tried to lead with love. And, you know, I've always had a very deep connection with God, source, the universe, call it whatever you want. We all know it's something greater than us, and it's here to shape us if we lean into our faith.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't a stranger to that. And interestingly enough, a couple of years prior to my diagnosis, I had gotten another God nudge that told me I was to write a book called Spiritual Sugar about healing with love. And at that time I thought, oh no, I am not even qualified for this. I have no idea what you're talking about. I did journal about it and set it aside, but I was kind of taken aback by that. But when I got that message that said, you're going to heal this with love, I thought, oh, that reminded me I was already getting a message,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe I just wasn't listening close enough.
Absolutely. And what exactly is it that you think God is trying to get you to see?
Well, the message that I was given is that we can heal with love. We need more love and faith in this world, period. Mm-hmm. And that it's really important that I share my story to help lead people home to themselves and to a belief in something greater than them. And what I was given, and this is how it happens, are kind of like, you call them, you know, God shifts, I call them God nudges, divine downloads, however you look at it, was, Lisa, you've got to share your story and you've got to let people know that there's something greater than them, because too few people have faith anymore. Mm-hmm. And if people are questioning and they don't have anything to believe in, show them nature. That in itself is a miracle and proof that there's something bigger than us. And then of course I healed with love, and I really did. You know, I went into nature, I spent lots of time there, and I followed the threads. I followed the God nudges, the divine downloads, and that's how I did it.
Absolutely. You know, and what we realize is that whether we realize it in the moment or whether we realize it down the road, is that what happens, it doesn't necessarily happen to us. It actually happens for us and for others. And so I'm so grateful that you were able to recognize that I really need to lean into this, because if we're being honest, the average person would have just retreated and been like, oh my God, I have cancer, and he's talking about healing it with love. I don't know anything about healing it with love, and how am I going to write a book? How am I going to do all of these things when my life has been absolutely shattered? So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to find out exactly what some of the challenges that Lisa was experiencing in the middle of this God shift. We'll be right back.
Ready for a God shift, God shift.
Get lost in the pages of our latest book and discover the destiny you were created for. Another dimension of possibility awaits you, but a God shift is required to reveal it and access it. In A God Shift, a divine move from disruption to destiny, Shayna Rattler takes you on the journey of how she turned a once highly successful business that failed fast and left her questioning where God was taking her next into a thriving ministry and fulfilling life that affords her the opportunity to help others grow their faith and successfully navigate the seasons of life. This inspirational guide outlines the steps to confidently put your God shift in motion. Your next chapter is waiting. Are you ready to shift? Grab your copy at agodshiftbook.com.
Prisoner of Hope introduces The Vault, a membership community offering a library of videos designed to prepare and support you.
Many others, including myself, have gone through the long battle with the American justice system and have come out on the other side.
The Vault was created by families impacted by incarceration, along with experts. We know how to help because we've experienced it firsthand.
Remember, there is always a light at the end of the tunnel.
It's time to unlock your freedom in The Vault. Sign up now at prisonerofhopetv.com.
It's time to move. Your next chapter is waiting now. It may be difficult, but it's gonna be worth it all. Get ready for a God shift, God shift. Calling you higher, calling for greater. It's time to move. Your next chapter is waiting now. It may be difficult, but it's gonna be worth it all. Get ready for a God shift, God shift.
Welcome back. Before the break, our guest was sharing with us how when she was diagnosed with cancer, that God asked her to heal that cancer with all things love. Not chemo, not radiation. He asked her to heal that cancer with love. So Lisa, now that you are, again, still in the middle of this God shift, what is the biggest challenge that you're experiencing now that you're trying to navigate this new season?
Oh goodness. I think the biggest challenge right now is figuring out the best way to share this message and help more people while still doing the other body of work that was also a divine download and given to me from God, and trying to balance all of that. And it's a challenge. They often tell us that God doesn't give us more than we can handle, and sometimes I wish I just wasn't trusted so much, because it's an uncertain place. I call it kind of the perpetual unknowing and unknown. It's kind of where the whole world is right now. And so my biggest challenge is really just leaning deeper into my faith so that I'm led to the next step. And we can't just have faith alone in order to create miracles. We also have to take action. So I'm looking for those threads showing me, this is your next step, Lisa, and this is the action that you need to take. And one of those actions is being here with you today.
Yeah. I'm glad that you said that. I'm glad that you were just real enough to say, sometimes I just wish that he didn't trust me with all of the things that he gives me. Yes, my mind knows that he won't give me more than what I can bear. Yes, my mind knows that if there's something that he leads me to, that he will also lead me through. But sometimes I just wish he wouldn't give me so much to carry. So let's unpack that just a little bit more. How exactly would you say that this is either affecting your faith or your relationship with God?
Well, I'm just going in deeper, right? I know that I can trust. That's been proven. I mean, I had this rare type of throat cancer, which could have impacted everything. I mean, I might not even be speaking to you today had I listened to the doctors who misdiagnosed me and all of those things. You know, I had to seriously follow that guidance of God. And what I know to be true is, even through the most difficult times, we're taken care of when we have that faith, but it's the egoic mind that gets in our way. And that's really my biggest challenge, and how that's impacting is me getting out of my own way and letting God lead more, and having more faith and trust in the fact that I'm going to be shown the way. It's going to be okay. And it's scary. It's a little scary. You know, I don't buy into fear much at all, but this is very unknown for me. And I don't really know what's next. And again, you know, I mentioned being in business for a long time, I'm a type A. So I like to have a little control. And the truth is, we have no control. And facing mortality is not for the faint of heart. And it does make you realize that every second that we're here on earth is a miracle in and of itself.
Absolutely, absolutely. Kudos to you for that. So we're going to take another quick break. And when we come back, we're going to hear more about how God is using disruption in Lisa's life.
Ready for a gotcha.
Hey guys, I am so excited to share something really cool with you. There's an organization called Black Christian Influencers that has some amazing people, some that you may know, some that you may not, but they all are doing some amazing work in the kingdom. So if you can, go on over to the page at Black Christian Influencers, or you can visit the website at www.blackchristianinfluencers.com.
Are you looking for ways to support the God Shift movement and others in need? Grab one of our premium tees at agodshift.com/shop, and we will donate 20% of the sales to the National Christian Foundation. These t-shirts are made of 100% premium soft cotton, come in white women's fit and black traditional fit, and are available in sizes extra small through 4X. It's time to embrace disruption, collide with God's purpose, and confidently shift into the next chapter of your life. Share your shift with the world by proudly wearing a God Shift t-shirt. Grab one for yourself and those you love at agodshift.com/shop.
It's time to move. Your next chapter is waiting now. It may be difficult, but it's gonna be worth it all. Get ready for a gotcha. Calling you higher, calling for greater. It's time to move. Your next chapter is waiting now. It may be difficult, but it's gonna be worth it all. Get ready for a gotcha.
Welcome back. We've been talking with Lisa Mannion about how she has learned how to heal cancer with love. Yes, the cancer is gone, and she did it without all of the traditional ways of healing cancer. She healed it with love. And so let's go a little bit deeper into this disruption. So Lisa, what would you say that you have learned about yourself during this process?
Oh gosh, I am much stronger than I imagined, which is really pretty beautiful, because I never in a million years imagined I would navigate facing mortality. You know, it was in my late 40s when that happened. And so it's an interesting place to be. So definitely I'm stronger than I even knew, but I also think it's important to know, and this is something that I've always done, but it's deepened my knowledge and understanding of how important this is. We have to question everything.
Yeah.
Absolutely 100% question everything. And I'm all about, you know, breaking the trance, challenging the status quo, and engaging critical thinking. And there just isn't enough of that going on in the world. And had I not done any of this or leaned into my faith, we wouldn't even be having this conversation today.
Absolutely. You know, and that's really interesting that you say that, because this is the time for you to lean in, and you were willing to lean in into something that you didn't understand. We talked about, you know, if we're going to make room for a miracle, how important it is for us to take risks. So I would imagine that it's safe to say that this felt like a huge risk for you to be willing to lean into something when you didn't have all the answers.
Absolutely, it really was. And at the same time, the message I got about healing with love sounded way better than the alternative. So I thought, I'm all in. Let's do this.
Yeah.
So, that was kind of a no-brainer for me. It's like, okay, yes, I do want to live. And one of the conversations that I had with God when I was sitting in inquiry, like, okay, is this it? Am I really going to check out? And if so, thank you for life. But I don't think we're done here. And I think you have more for me to do. So show me what that is and let's do it.
Yes, he does have more for you to do. And so based on what you know now, what advice would you give yourself pre-God shift?
Oh gosh, I would say listen. And this is kind of a fun story. I had the opportunity to have a conversation with Neil Donald Walsh, who wrote all of the Conversations with God books. And he was sharing his process and how he gets his messages from God. And I shared a little bit about what happened with my Healing with Love journey. And I had mentioned that, 2 years prior to diagnosis, I had gotten a download to write a book about healing with love and had no idea how I would do that, and kind of said, well, what? Who, me? Why? And he said to me, he just kind of laughed and he said, the best messages come through that way. And I said, well, do we always have to go through really major transitions in order to start doing the work? And he laughed and he said, absolutely not. It just takes, metaphorically sometimes, people to be hit upside the head with a 2x4. And that's what happened to you, Lisa. So listen and write that book and get it done.
Yeah, that's really good, because sometimes we can either shift or we can be shoved. And I know for me in my own life, and I think God knows this about me, that I ignore whispers and I ignore nudges, and you absolutely almost have to shove me. So here's what I will end with, Lisa, is that one thing that I know for sure is that this cancer was an attack on your voice. So don't you dare be silent in this next season. I want to see you get that book written, and I want to see you not only speak up, but also speak out, because the world absolutely needs what it is that you have to offer. Because not only is it important for people to learn from what it is that you went through of how they can move forward, but it's also important for people to recognize that the experts don't know it all. The doctors don't know it all. And when you are being faced with a disruption, how important it is to really lean on God and listen to what the Holy Spirit is saying. So what I feel like he is saying to you is that in this next season, even when you want to silence yourself, because I feel like over these last couple of months that you have been getting in your own way and wanting to silence your own voice. So I want you to lean into you now. You've already done the work of leaning into God, and so I really want you to lean into you now and open your mouth. So thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
Ready for a God shift, God shift.
Get lost in the pages of our latest book and discover the destiny you were created for. Another dimension of possibility awaits you, but a God shift is required to reveal it and access it. In A God Shift, a divine move from disruption to destiny, Shayna Rattler takes you on the journey of how she turned a once highly successful business that failed fast and left her questioning where God was taking her next into a thriving ministry and fulfilling life that affords her the opportunity to help others grow their faith and successfully navigate the seasons of life. This inspirational guide outlines the steps to confidently put your God shift in motion. Your next chapter is waiting. Are you ready to shift? Grab your copy at agodshiftbook.com. Are you looking for ways to support the God Shift movement and others in need? Grab one of our premium tees at agodshift.com/shop, and we will donate 20% of the sales to the National Christian Foundation. These t-shirts are made of 100% premium soft cotton, come in white women's fit and black traditional fit, and are available in sizes extra small through 4X. It's time to embrace disruption, collide with God's purpose, and confidently shift into the next chapter of your life. Share your shift with the world by proudly wearing a God Shift t-shirt. Grab one for yourself and those you love at agodshift.com/shop.
Get ready for a God shift, God shift.
On On today's show, Lisa highlighted how she went from healing cancer with love and leaning into exactly where it is that God is taking her next. And I am so excited to see what they co-create as she enters the next chapter of her life. Miracles are real and they happen every day. So my question to you is, what can you commit to doing in the next 7 days to make room for a miracle in your life? If your life has been experiencing unexpected circumstances and you want to get unstuck into where God needs you next, download our free guide, When God Says Shift, at GodSaysShift.com. Thank you so much for joining us on today's show, and be sure to join us back here next week. Bye-bye.
Ready for it.